Today's video is brought to you by Audible. Get your free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at www.audibletrial.com/MagzTV or click the link in the video description below. G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to Cold Waters with Mags, and welcome to the Blockade. Yes, we made our way back to Holy Loch, and we spent a couple of days in dry dock getting our Los Angeles class submarine, the Boston, screwed back together after our disastrous mission where we took a torpedo, trying to launch Tomahawk missiles into the Soviet Union. Having just departed Holy Loch and heading our way into the Atlantic Ocean, and we were immediately set upon by an unknown submarine contact. Now, it's highly likely that these submarines were actually in pursuit of us as we were crippled trying to make our way back home and have simply been waiting for us. So this is a blockade. And we've identified our first hostile. It's a Charlie 2. This is an interesting submarine to encounter. This is a early to mid 1970s service entry ballistic missile submarine. So what the hell it's doing here outside of wanting to attack land targets, I don't know. Second target looks to be a Victor 3. I'm pretty happy with the solution on the Victor 3, but not on the Charlie 2. Ambient noise in the ocean is only 94 decibels, so it's not incredibly loud, although it's not perfectly quiet either. Oops, accidentally cavitated, that's a bad idea. It is worth noting at this point that after the fun that I had actually, with the difficulty level increasing trying to pull off that missile strike, I've actually decided to increase the difficulty level from realistic, the second highest difficulty level in the game, to elite. So we are now playing on the highest difficulty level that you can play this game on. So we're just going to descend here. I want to get down below the thermal layer. Keep it as quiet as possible. Actually, that's the first thing I've sort of noticed since the difficulty level increase. The Soviet submarines are giving a ping every now and again, but they're not banging away on their active sonar like they normally would. So I've lost contact with the Victor 3. Normally that thing would be pinging its ass off and it would be really easy to keep a track on it. And this Charlie 2 is being incredibly quiet at the moment. It's definitely running silent. 52% solution. God, it's close. Range 1.3 kiloyards. That's about 1.1 kilometers and closing. Yeah, I'm going to turn away here because it's definitely heading in my direction and I don't want to get much closer, otherwise it's going to see where I am. I could fire a torpedo at it at this point, but I've got enough of a solution to be able to pull off the shot, but I'd really like to get it a little bit higher. 1 kiloyard exactly. 81% solution, so we should get visual on it in just a moment. 89. Still no contact with the Victor 3. 95. That is not a Charlie 2. And it's not going active. It doesn't know I'm here. That's a Sierra. In the time frame of Cold Waters, the Sierra class would be the latest and greatest submarine that the Soviet Union would have access to. They were launched in the early 1980s. I think the first one hit the water in 1983, so just a year before this game is based, and these things are the replacement for the Alpha class. So I'm just going to redesignate this one Sierra. Yep, there we go. There's the pattern, so we've relocked in, redesignated Sierra 1. And from the looks of things, it has no idea that I'm here. Well, it's about to find out. Okay. Gonna lose the wire as soon as I launch this. Screw it. Torpedo away. Oh, there we go. There's the active sonar. And cavitate, it knows what's going on. It's turning away. Torpedo is still following waypoint. Should go live in just a moment. Torpedo's just slid into my baffles, so I've lost track on exactly where it's gone, and the Sierra is now in my baffles as well. I've got to watch out. That Victor 3 should pop up any second now. Torpedo's live. Tracking target. At this range, it should have absolutely no chance to maneuver. Those pings are getting closer. Impact. Contact Sierra 1. Sierra is eliminated. Alright, let's get some depth here. Oh, that's eerie. Normally revealing myself like that would send every single Soviet submarine on the map into a frenzy, but the Victor 3 didn't even go active. There's no way known it couldn't have heard that. But it's still trying to be sneaky. Actually, trying is the wrong word here. Succeeding is definitely what it's doing. Absolutely no contact, so I'm just gonna keep heading in the direction that it was in. Maintain ultra quiet, and we'll hang around just underneath the layer for the moment. Like, there's no way that Victor isn't going to be sniffing around, finding out what is exactly going on right now, but I would like to see it before it sees me. The Victor class is actually an interesting submarine to... Oh, wait, hang on. 3% solution. It's well below the layer. It's definitely a Victor. Yeah, I think I've got this one designated right. I'm a little nervous now. I'm just double checking just to make sure I have got it right. That thing being a Sierra was quite the surprise. Does look like I've got it, yeah. Looks like we have got a Victor there. So, anyways, the Victor's an interesting submarine to discuss. The Victor class is, well, the base hull is actually a late 60s design. It was designed around the same time as the Alpha was. However, it received multiple updates. The last update, the Victor 3, received its updates right at the end of the 70s, so 1979, early 1980. This means that, technologically speaking, the Victor 3 is actually not all that far behind the Sierra in terms of its systems capabilities. It's just inside an older designed hull. However, the hull design is not all that different from the hull of the Sierra, so despite being an older boat, it's actually not that much of an older boat. Which you can see exactly how good it is right here. I mean, this thing, we're at ultra quiet, I've got the towed array out, I'm adjusting to try and get an angle from the towed array, and 32% solution at estimated 5.4 kiloyards. This is definitely showing me that on realistic settings, the Soviet boats don't use ultra quiet all that often. This thing is running ultra quiet at the moment, and I'm having trouble getting a decent solution on it at a range where I would normally be well inside torpedo firing range. %. Down to 5 kiloyards, and we're still only at 31%. That thing is really quiet to hear, and we've turned 90 degrees to the Victor at this point. It does look like it's heading in our direction. We haven't got a heading, but the way it's moving on the map does look like it's coming towards the place where the Sierra went down. There we go, we've gone up to 32%. Oh, I'm liking this. This is much more difficult. Now the question is, what can she hear of me? On active, she would be able to ping me and get me quite clearly, but passives, I should still be good, but there's not a lot of margin in it at this point. .6 kiloyards, and we're up to 33. Yeah, she's far enough off the bottom, should be able to use her towed array, so she will have that out looking for us as well. I'm pretty sure you've got to be clear 100 feet of the bottom in order to be able to run the towed array. So, yeah, she's got 200 feet of clearance, so she should be fine. 34%. 4.4 kiloyards. She is starting to get very close. 35. Alright, this is going to take too long, so what I'm doing at the moment is bringing the submarine down and around. We're 20 degrees down on the ballots, 15 down on the planes, and full 32 port rudder, or left-hand rudder. I'm going to swing the nose back towards the Victor and just bring it up to 10. We're at a silent running. Now, I know this is going to make me easier to hear, but I want her to react. I'm completely confident I can beat a Victor 3 in a one-on-one engagement, so that's not a problem. But I don't want to waste the time of having to close in on her, to be perfectly honest. We're at 39%. At 10 knots, we should still be fairly low in our detectability range. We have sonar active on 2 of our torps, so we're ready to go. The MOS is loaded. So if things go wrong, I can just MOS, countermeasure, or noisemaker and brake. Right, she hasn't turned from the course that it looks like she was on, so I don't think even at 10 knots she can actually hear me at the moment. I think I'm still quiet enough for the moment that, yeah, I'm pretty sure she cannot hear me. 41%, 3.3 kiloyards. She's still doing 8 knots or under. She's sitting at 5. She's running ultra quiet. 43. Ready to fire on her, but still only 46%. There's no guarantee she is exactly where it says she is at this time. It could be just where we're hearing her. You would have noticed in previous videos, when we go up to a higher solution, the contact can jump in location. That's where it really is in comparison to where we were hearing it, due to the way the sound propagates in water. 51, 2.8. She's getting awfully close at this point. I think we may go back to ultra quiet. Just turn... No, we won't. I'm contemplating just sticking in ultra quiet and seeing whether or not she goes past, and then going for a full port turn and try and pull into her baffles. 60%, we've got our heading. Yes, she was heading towards the Sierra, so that's fine. 2.6 and 60%. She's still not reacting to the fact we're here, so she can't hear us. I'm just waiting for her to ping. If this was in realistic, by now the Victor would have just started active pinging. It would have been active pinging from the moment we took down the Sierra. Slowly turning wide here. We're going to try and see if we can sneak in on her baffles. I could fire the shot here. We're at 89%. There we go. There's the jump. We were pretty close to where she was, so I could fire the torpedo right now and take her out. I'd like to see whether or not I can actually slip in on her. There she is. We're close enough. 95%. I'm liking this. I should have turned the difficulty up to elite sooner. This battle so far has been almost the best example I could have ever asked for the differences between a Soviet submarine and an Allied submarine in the early 80s. The Soviets have exceptional active sonar, but their passive sonar is just not quite as good as what NATO and specifically the US in the Los Angeles class actually had, which is why I can hear her, and while she's probably pretty sure I'm floating around, she can't quite hear me. 30 degrees port at this point, 10 degrees down on the planes, 10 degrees down on the ballast. I'm going to try and drop down to 600 feet and slowly bring myself in behind her. I could turn in a lot faster, but I would have to come out of ultra quiet in order to do it. And until I'm far enough around that I'm in her baffles, she will hear that. Not that it matters. I'll be perfectly honest, at this point I could torp her ass out of the water, but I just want to see whether or not I can slip in behind her without her realizing I'm actually there, because this will be good practice for later on. She does appear to be beelining it straight for the Sierra, or pretty close to it. No, she's not changing course. Alright, we're 90 degrees to her now. From this far out, she should still be able to hear us. If we came out of ultra quiet, of course. So if we can get in a little bit closer, I should be able to increase to 10 knots and get right up behind her. Actually, you know what? This is taking a bit too long. I think at this point I've proved the point. They can't hear me unless they go active. Or they can't see me unless they go active, rather. So, torpedo set to active. We'll activate it about halfway. Tube 1 away. Wait for it. There it is. Live ping. She's heard the transient. Torp is live and looking good, closing into target. Wire is still intact, so we have control if we need it. There's the noisemaker. Torp's turning away. In the half loop back. We're so close she hasn't got time to maneuver, she hasn't even got time to accelerate. Sorry. Victor 3 eliminated. Alright, so I'm liking this. I'm liking this a lot. While in this particular situation I had all the advantages and I managed to detect both submarines prior to engaging, so I had an idea on where to look for them even when they did go ultra quiet and I lost contact with the Victor 3 in particular. Engaging hostile targets inside of Soviet waters where I'm likely to be outnumbered 4, 5, 6 to 1 on elite difficulty level, not being able to easily detect these submarines is going to make things a hell of a lot more interesting. but I really like the tension, so this is going to be a lot of fun. Anyways, ladies and gents, I hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you very much for watching. As always, please check out my sponsor for the channel. It is Audible. Links in the video description below for a free 30-day trial and a free audiobook of your choice, over 180,000 titles to choose from. Also, if you'd like to support my channel directly, links to my Patreon are also in the video description down below. Until next time, remember to click that like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, dive smart, dive safe, and I'll catch you in the depths.